Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Geeking and Drinking, episode 90. The force is strong with this one, I promise. What's going on, everybody, and welcome. Happy May the 4th be with you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Geeking and Drinking. I'm Eddie.
I'm Steven.
And we are back together for episode 90, and we are talking all Star Wars. But it is May the 4th, and Star Wars Day,
Yeah.
for all you nerds out
Check
there.
out this new Star Wars shirt I got. Big hops. Yeah, check out the back.
Did you get that at Big House?
Well, it was gifted to me from our uncle, who's a big supporter of the show here. I don't know if y'all can see the back.
Very nice. I'm wearing an old shirt. But, I need a beer.
Yes, I do too.
Yeah, so, here.
So,
This is what I got.
I'm not too sure if they still have any more t-shirts at Big Hops.
I
I'm
think
not sure
so.
if all of them are doing it, but go check them out on May the 4th. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on. And wait, there is a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know what, like, May the 4th is just because it sounds like it? Is that what it is? Or, like, did a movie come out this day? Like, did New Hope? I don't think New Hope came out on May the 4th, did it?
No.
No, because it was like, I think they were like, I don't know.
Ooh, why does this smell different?
Oh, yeah, so I have brought us it's the Shiner Tex Hex. They have several different flavors of these, and
Ooh.
to call it this one I haven't had, and I'll be completely honest with you, I'm not a big fan of the Tex Hex. Like, I've had them and I'll drink them, but like I don't know, they don't, for me, like the taste you get afterwards, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. But this one is a passion fruit hazy IPA, and these are usually pretty strong. Like, I know, like, they're always like 7.7, 8.5. Those one like 9, I think, percent alcohol. So this one's running at 7.5%, and yeah. So I never had it. It smells really good.
Yeah, I could just smell it as soon as I opened it.
Yeah.
And pour.
So yeah, we'll see how this one is, because it smells really good.
Yeah, it does. I'm ready for it.
All right, cool. See that? That's good.
Oh my god.
That's like smooth. It's
Oh my god.
refreshing. Dude, these been on ice.
Oh.
These been on ice all
And
morning.
it's a good thing you did keep them on ice. Man, that is so freaking delicious.
Yeah, I had work this morning, so I had put them in my ice, put them on ice in my ice chest, since this morning when I woke up, and what's I call it, yeah, so they've been on ice all day, so I'm like, hell yeah, but dude, not bad.
Oh,
Not
definitely. That good
bad.
good choice. Yeah, like Eddie said, I'm not a real big fan of the Tex Hex either. Well, I mean, I'm not even a big fan of hazy IPAs. I mean,
You say
Matthew,
that all the time, but you drink them.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was about to say is that you and Matthew have gotten me kind of like used to them and everything, especially a lot of the ones we've had. I still have yet to have a porter on the show, so hopefully when the season comes for that.
Didn't we have? Was it a stout? The one from the one from Texas.
Texas Beer Co.
Yeah,
That was a stout,
yeah.
which I'll bring that too.
Nah, it's good. It's good.
It was a strawberry chocolate stout.
Yeah.
That was delicious. But yeah, this one is really, really good. I don't get that aftertaste like what you were talking about with the regular Tex Hex. I mean, it tastes real floral, real fruity, real refreshing at that.
I think
too.
honestly, it's like, I guess it's the passion fruit, and then it's back to hazy. I mean, the other ones are hazy too, but
Yeah,
I don't know. Just the other ones are more like muskier to me and like have a weird aftertaste. This one,
and coming from Shiner, too. That's a good one right there.
This one's like real, it's like citrus heavy, so pretty good. I like it.
So, you weren't with me on the last episode. So, how's everything been going? What have you been doing? What have you been watching? What have you seen lately? I know you went to go see a movie lately too.
Yes. Yes, I did. Oh yeah. Sorry, I was gonna be like, I'm watching wrestling. I'm watching a lot of wrestling. Oh brother, we're watching a lot of wrestling, man. Where Cody Rhodes finished his story, baby. But yeah, other than that, yeah, I went to go see the new A24 Alex Garland. I don't know if you've seen Ex Machina with what's his name?
I've heard of it, no, but
Oscar
I have
Isaac.
not seen it.
Oh, so good. So yeah, this is the director of that one, and Civil War, and I don't know if if you know everyone knows about the controversy. I'm not gonna go into it. I'm just saying it's just like, you know, when I first saw the trailer of this movie, I'm like, oh shit, like this is gonna be like a political movie, you know, because it really kind of not markets it all like that, but like you get that kind of like hint, whatever. Fast forward to seeing the movie, it's really not that at all. It's just you go into it with a lot of unanswered questions and you leave with a lot of unanswered questions, but like it follows a story of something, and it's a really good story. It's beautifully shot. The sound is just like amazing. For that alone, it's a good movie, but like everything else behind it is just kind of like but I enjoyed it. I liked it. I also, what else did I see? Poor Things with Emma Stone, Mark Ruffalo, Willem Dafoe.
Remy, I forget his name.
Yeah, I think Remy Youssef.
Yeah, Remy Youssef.
That one was interesting, man. That one was, ooh, buddy. That's the one that Emma Stone won her best actor award, Oscar. So I want to check it out for that reason, and it's good. I mean, it's wacky, like super weird, but it's good. I enjoyed it. And I'm trying to think of something else that I've seen.
Remy Youssef.
Ramy, yeah. But
I said
yeah,
Remy. It's ramming.
Oh.
But no, yeah, I've actually saw that movie because of that in itself too, because of Emma Stone winning Best Actress for the part that she did in the movie, and so I was pretty curious. I never really heard of it at all. I didn't know really of it, and someone kind of mentioned it, and it's like, oh well, it's like a different take on like a Frankenstein type movie, you know?
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I'm curious. I mean, other than like some of the stuff that goes on in the movie, the story itself was really good, and I was like, oh shit, like this is actually pretty good, and like the visuals, man, the visuals were amazing.
Yeah, like just like I don't know, like yeah, they were really really good. Like just when you see like the ship just floating like on the like water,
Yeah,
it just looked weird. Like, but yeah, that I really liked.
Just real quick on that too, like one of the big things I took out of it that I was just kind of like, okay, this is interesting. It's because if you haven't seen the movie yet, here's a little spoiler. Basically, what happened is the main character takes her own life, and when she did that, she was pregnant with child, and the character of William Dafoe found her and took the child out of her and put the brain of the child into the woman. So basically, it was like
it's weird.
Yeah, it was kind of weird, and seeing what she was before, and then what she became
at the
end, which is like
you literally watch her grow.
That's cool. It was amazing.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. Like I
really love that. And it's not like her physically growing; it was her mind physically like.
She does a lot of stupid shit. That's so funny. It's so funny.
And despite the character of Mark Ruffalo, I thought he did pretty good too.
Yeah, he plays a real shitty character, but he's funny.
He's funny.
I can't think of anything else that I've seen, but I know you watch a lot of shows. Anything you've seen? I mean, Shogun, X-Men 97. I know you've seen those.
I haven't seen Shogun yet. That's still on my on my watch list. I just recently started Loot season 2 with Myra Rudolph.
Loot?
Yeah, Loot. It's on Apple TV Plus. It's really funny. The first season was pretty good. The second season is just hilarious, and it really entertaining. I thought it was pretty good. What else have I watched? Definitely yes, X-Men 97, and I definitely want to get into a full blown of that in the later or another episode, but oh my god, it was so good.
Mm-hmm.
Towards the end, I was just like, wow, wow. And what else? Oh, I finished watching Fallout, which I want to do another episode on that. Compare it to some other video game shows that have been out for a while.
I started watching. That one. This is the first episode. I haven't
Yeah,
finished
it's actually really good. I mean, you watch the first episode and you're like, what am I watching? Like, what's going on? And then like as the as it progresses, and what was cool that Amazon did is that they decided to go ahead and just release the full season out. And
I don't like that.
I think for some these streaming services they do that because they're just unsure, if it's gonna make it or not. Because that's what they did with The Boys season 1, and then after that they started doing weekly.
But Amazon, I think, is one of the only ones that did that, like doing it like all at once the first season, and after that like doing it weekly.
Yeah, if it goes, I think if not, then they.
I mean, Stranger Things kind of did it a little bit. Like they released the last 2 like late, right? Separately or something.
Yeah, they like split the last season in half.
But like I don't know, because like to me it just kind of like I'm trying to think of an example of a show that's done that, and it just kind of like comes and goes. You know what I mean? Like, like there's a lot of them. Like, I mean, we could really name a lot of them. I mean, like, I mean, I say that I can't even name one. Fucking, there's this one on Netflix that was from the guys that did Game of Thrones or whatever, and that one was like anticipated. It came and went because they dropped it all at once. I mean, Fallout, like it, from what I like, see or listen to, like it came out, people watched it, they liked it, and it's just like, okay, now they're just like on to the next, and like, but Shogun was like talked about for like the last 10 weeks because it came out like once every week.
Well, yeah, because that one was is actually on television. I mean, you could stream it the day after on Hulu, but it's on FX.
Yeah, and that's the difference, but like a lot of the Star Wars shows, they come out every week, and unfortunately for those, and we'll get into it later, obviously.
Didn't Disney do something like that? They released a show, and they just went, okay, like we're gonna do this one all like at once.
Yeah, it was Echo.
So
Echo on.
Okay, yeah. So there you go. That was the first time they ever did that.
Yeah, that was the first time.
Yeah, because all their other shows they've always done weekly.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, what's it called? I don't know. I don't like that motto of them releasing everything all at once. I think that's if you want your show to be talked about longer, we release it week to week. We get people talking because, like, there's just a vast variety of shows and stuff to watch on streaming. Like, it's hard to stay relevant.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous, dude. It's so ridiculous. There's so many stuff out there now, and that was what the weird thing that when we first did the show was. We were talking about that. We were talking about how streaming is becoming a big thing, and
now it's here.
Now look at it; it's just huge. And we had, there was a lot of anticipated apps that we were waiting for, and some that have gone, some that have merged.
Yeah, I know. Like now, like it's so weird. Like Max, you know what I mean? Yeah. That was HBO Max, and that was just like the progression of these things, and like now like. Hulu and Disney could, access it together. Like it's just like Netflix is gonna start streaming wrestling next year. What's going on?
What is going on?
Yeah, but anyway, that's a conversation later because we got a lot of Star Wars to talk about. Unless there's anything you've watched or you want to bring up real fast.
I was holding on to this one because since I want to segue into Star Wars, I just recently finished The Bad Batch.
And this was Bad Batch season 3. Final season.
Yeah, which if you're not familiar with The Bad Batch, they were first introduced in the final season of the Clone Wars, season 7. Yeah. Season 7, Clone Force 99. They got a real big response from their limited time on Clone Wars, and people were wanting more, so they ended up giving them their own show. And I gotta tell you, man, it was amazing. Like, I was kind of curious how they were gonna do this, how it was gonna connect to everything. And I mean, just like what DC is doing with their animated movies and series, I think Star Wars, Disney with the Star Wars animated stuff is just doing a wonderful thing, fantastic thing, more better than than a lot of the live action stuff. And
Bite my tongue right now. Bite my tongue.
And that goes without saying. That not all of them were bad, but not all of them were good.
Some were just flat out disappointing. Like I've been thinking about this a lot when like we talked about getting together today and like talking Star Wars and everything, like from the movies to the shows and everything, and like I have a really love-hate relationship with Star Wars right now because like I love it, like I fell in love with it through the movies and everything, and like the shows have come out and just have given us more, but then at the same time, like I don't know, like it's just like it's been, like I said, it's been an up and down with Star Wars, and lately, like I'm not gonna lie, it's been down.
Well, how do you think I feel considering when my Star Wars, technically I kind of have two Star Wars.
Yeah, because the first three came out. I mean, right, they all came out before you were born, right?
The first two for sure. I think Return of the Jedi came out in 85, 86.
So around the time you were born.
But I was still just a little bit.
Like I was alive. So yeah, I mean, yeah, but you saw those. Obviously saw those first, and then How old were you when the prequel series came out? I think I was like maybe like 7, 8.
I was in. So the first, Phantom Menace came out in 99, May of 99.
I was 9 years old.
And the only reason why I remember that is because I just recently did trivia, and so a Star Wars trivia, which we won. Hello, but
one thing I also don't like about the Tex beers, the aroma it leaves, like that beer smell in it after it. Yeah, I'm tasting it right now. I mean, it tastes good, but I'm getting that weird back smell. It's just like, anyway, you were saying May 99.
May 99. So I was in 8th grade, finishing up 8th grade, getting ready to go to high school.
Nerd.
How old was I? I was 15.
Nice.
I was 15 at the time. And
makes sense. I was 9. We're 6 years apart, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
So so it was great though, because even before that, before the prequels came out, we got the dreaded remastered versions of the Star Wars original trilogy.
But be honest, because from what I can remember back when we were kids, and I know you had the original 3 box, the box 3, the box set, the 3 movies, the original ones, the ones that were the black case with I know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
You had those original ones, which was the original cut, right? Of the movie, which shows,
I had both of them. I had the original cut.
Yeah.
Which is the one you're explaining, which was in the all black.
Yeah.
And they had the different colors, the yellow, red, and green.
No,
Star Wars.
It was yellow, blue,
blue, red.
Yeah.
And then the faces on them. Who was on? I think it was like R2D2 was on A New Hope.
New Hope.
And then Darth Vader was on the Empire. And then Yoda.
It was Yoda.
Yoda was on Return. But like on the side of the box, So, and then I had the remastered ones.
But did you have both the silver and the gold ones?
No, I only had the gold ones.
The gold ones, okay.
I wanted to get the silver.
See, but okay. So I was gonna ask you. So like just try to put yourself back there again, and watching those, and be honest. Did you really hate it at first, when when you started noticing, hey, that's a little different. Like, oh, hey, they added more CGI, because that's what I remember watching those, was like, oh shit, there's this team has a lot more CGI. For
sure.
Mean, that's cool.
For sure, I was very disappointed.
Oh, you're disappointed.
Because, I thought we were gonna get more stuff, not just little digitally remastered stuff. So, for instance, in A New Hope, we got that extra scene with Jabba.
Oh yeah, when he's a dude.
Yeah, but they totally changed it, and there's that part where Han's walking around him and
walks over his tail.
He has to walk on his tail, and he just that just looked terrible. That just looked horrible. But I was just like, yeah, like did we need this? Did we really need it? I mean, because
I also
I
know.
know I know people were like, I, I don't. I mean, not, I don't know if they were like or anything like that.
The internet wasn't around back then to know.
I know I wasn't, but like I wasn't curious. Like where did this Jabba guy come from? You know, but it's like he's been mentioned. He has been mentioned in, you know, the movies before. Like he was mentioned when Han shot Guido, and you know he was like Jabba's looking for you. Oh yeah, I broke that. So, but you know, but we just never saw the character. Mm-hmm. And you know, not until Return of the Jedi, and you just get this big old slug-looking thing.
Yeah, what's it called? Yeah, I mean, so you got those, you know, when we were younger, and then we got the prequel series, and again, I could put myself back in that time. I remember watching these movies and thinking they were fantastic. I loved them, you know. I was like, I fell in love with them. And back then, in my child mind, I was like, I liked Attack of the Clones the best. I think. Because
Attack of the Clones, man.
Because although like Revenge of the Sith was like the epic one, like I don't know, I liked Attack of the Clones because it was like the start of the war, and then you see the clones. I thought that was so fucking cool. So like I always liked that better. And then as an adult, like
they just jumped in, dude. They just came out of the fucking nowhere.
Yeah. And then like as an adult and like hearing like reading stuff and like hearing like podcasts or people say like, oh yeah, like the prequel sucked, or like, you know, Attack of the Clones, like that's like the worst. I was like, what? And I went back and watched it. I'm like,
well, I mean, okay,
it's still cool.
Okay, here's the thing though. The worst part of it was the romance. Yes, and his because this is where Anakin was starting to, you know, realize that not everything is as humble as things seem. You know, there is darkness in the galaxy.
Yeah. And
he's starting to see that, you know, with the death of his mom and everything. And it's like, but the way they made him seem is like crybaby. It's like, oh, that was the annoying part for me.
Yeah. And see, the thing is, like, looking at, like, going back and watching it now, I'm just like, oh, he's struggling. Like, not that, like, the actor struggling. I'm saying, like, Anakin, I feel like he's, like, but it's still, yeah, the whiny parts is kind of like,
yeah.
You know, but, like, I think one of my favorite scenes, what I love is in Revenge of the Sith, and it's that scene like right when everything's about to pop off, and what's it called it remember Anakin is looking out the window, and at the same time Padme's looking out the window and has that eerie music, and like that's when he's like turning to the dark side, and he's like, because that's when he tells Mace Windu and the council that Count Dooku, that Senator Palpatine is the Sith Lord. So he goes and tells them, and so they're okay. We're gonna go and get him, and you know he's like, I should be with you, and they're like, no, stay behind. And so like he stays behind, and he's just there contemplating, like thinking like what Palpatine said to him and what he promised him, and like he's like struggling with the fact that he wants to like be able to save Padme because he's had these dreams that she's gonna die. So you can see, like, I'm watching that scene, like the music, and like he's just looking out the window, and he starts like, he had a tear going in his eye, like that. I was like, damn, that's so good. Like, that's so fucking good. I thought that's the shit that's fucking good. Or not to mention even to the scene with Palpatine and Anakin, where they're in that kind of like opera thing with that giant bubble and the thing flying around, and Palpatine like tells him the story of Dark Plagueis.
Y'all want to hear the best sound in the world?
Yeah, and he tells him the you know the story of Dark Plagueis the Wise, and that's when you realize that he's telling a story about himself, and oh, it's just so good. Like, I love that stuff.
And I mean, you knew from Phantom Menace who was Darth Sidious, you know, the whole time. You know, you knew it was Palpatine the whole time.
But as a kid, I didn't know. You know what I mean? Like, go look back watching now, I'm like, oh, he's totally. Like, I always kind of like saw him like, oh, he looks. The bottom of his mouth looks like the Emperor. Like, you know, it's just like.
I see. I guess that for me, that's where I was like, because that's where the old Star Wars kicked in for me, and I was like, dude, that's totally Palpatine, bro. Like, he's the dark side. He's the Sith master. You know, and especially at the end when Windu and Yoda are talking, they're like, "Whoa, you know, but who was the one that we killed? Was it the master or the apprentice?"
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes and shows Palpatine. It's like, come on, dude.
But
But so what I was gonna try to get at earlier was like, how do you think I felt when I had the original three, which I never saw in theaters until they did the remakes, and then I got the prequels. You know, because people were like, "Oh, you know, we want the story before. You know, we want to know how Anakin became Darth Vader."
I don't think
and
people
all that.
asked. I think George Lucas just had that story. Like,
No, there were people asking for.
but again, the internet wasn't around back then, so it's like, were they writing letters?
Yeah, we were writing letters.
We were writing letters.
Well, no, because I remember even talking to my friends. You know, like, "Oh man, you know, what did they do? Like, before, we get these stories where they're going to talk about, Darth Vader and how the stormtroopers can, because everybody also had like that question too, is like, why are there so many stormtroopers? Where do all these stormtroopers come from? And all these, where did this empire come from and stuff? And we did talk about stuff like that. It was, we were nerds like that in middle school. And then we got our wish. We actually got the prequels, which again, going back as a kid, I guess the most exciting part of it was the duel between Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just
Epic.
like, oh my god,
Epic.
dude, it's so good.
That was
so
like the
great.
best thing in the world when the double bladed lightsaber, and everybody, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, and that was like the best thing, because like we've always only gotten the solo lightsaber.
Yeah, and at that too.
And then it's like all of a sudden he goes and then like, oh shit.
And then they're both like, dude. That was one thing too. Like the choreography in these movies, the lightsaber fights are like they're next level. Like, and like again, like in retrospect, looking back at it now, like, Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor, like, fuck, they were awesome. And then, then you get kind of tastes of that in the future when we get the Obi-Wan show and everything. But sticking with the movies. Yeah,
I mean, just thinking with the lore altogether, I mean, there was just tons of
well,
things.
like I was gonna say, like the one of the like one of the things that the prequels have gave us was room to tell other stories that people love. Rebels, Clone Wars, that like it birthed Clone Wars, and like that's where that came from. And look at it now, like like you said, you just finished season 3 of Bad Batch. That would never have happened if it wasn't for the prequels, because they're like it's just like it's just this branch of story that's just like that has gone on, and it's been really amazing.
Yeah, because once the internet started hitting, and there was a lot of stuff going on, and when we saw the start of the Clone Wars, especially when we got a little bit of it in Revenge of the Sith, people wanted like to know more, like well, what were exactly the Clone Wars, like what what was going on. And yeah, that's when we got the the animated series for the Clone Wars, which at first it started off like as a kid show, but as it progressed on, things started getting real serious, real dark, real quick, and like the storytelling was just amazing in it too. And I think Dave Filoni did an amazing job with that. Mm-hmm. And he's been doing really good stuff ever since. Well, I mean, I think so, because we only had just the 3. And then we got the prequels, and then that's when I wanted even more. It's like, I want to know more. I want to know more. What's going on? What happens? What happened after the Empire fell? Did everything just happen to be oh yeah, everything's nice and good now in the galaxy? It's like, no, we didn't. The things weren't nice and great. There were still people who were for the Empire and trying to bring it back, and then you get the First Order. And there was crime syndicates still going on and stuff like that.
I like that. So the crime syndicate stuff, the stuff that was kind of introduced in Solo and everything, like talked about in Andor and like in Rogue One. I'm just like, oh, I love that stuff. The fact that Darth Maul at one point when there is running that crime syndicate, like that's so
Rising
cool.
Sun.
Yeah, like it's just like what. like that, like just the way a lot of stuff, like a lot of that stuff, like kind of connects, but it's just at the same time too. There's a lot of the stuff that doesn't, like, and I. If I had to choose, I don't know, man, because I'm like thinking like if I had to choose, obviously I'm thinking of the trilogies, and because like I always keep thinking when we got the new ones, Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker, like exactly, like they just leave a really really bad taste in everybody's mouth, and it sucks because I can't go back and watch Force Awakens anymore. Like it's ruined for me because like when it first came out in 2016. Like I loved it. I watched it and I was like, oh, this is yes, it's a rehash of A New Hope, whatever, blah blah blah. Who cares, whatever, But it's still like it was still interesting to see like like these new characters coming up. Kylo Ren, you got Rey, Finn, all this stuff that's like these little seeds
Captain
that are
Phasma.
These little seeds that are planted for these awesome characters to see where they're gonna go, and then to see where they do go in the next two movies is just like. Oh, you dropped the ball.
Well, you can thank your boy Ryan Johnson for that, dude.
No, like
yes,
I don't.
Dude.
No, okay, that that is not like I blame the creative behind Star Wars. I blame like that. There's just no plan. Like there was no plan, whether it was directors or whatever. But like, because even then, even after Ryan Johnson had his movie,
but there was a plan.
No,
there was a plan.
No, there wasn't.
Yes.
No, how can you say that there was a plan? There like clearly wasn't. Because if there was a plan, why would they let Ryan Johnson go and do these things? You can't do these things without getting like some sort of approval from the creatives, and he got that. So it's like they were just letting him.
Maybe he pitched it in a way that
they were just letting him do his thing, and that was where the problem was. Like you needed like if they're gonna do a story and do like tell a story across 3 movies, you need to make sure it lines up. And the fact that like he swerved this way, and then not to mention like
maybe where they fucked up was where, maybe they were trying to do like what Marvel they were trying to not do away, but stay away from like what Marvel was doing. Marvel had a plan. Marvel had, the way they wanted their movies to go, and Kevin Feige made sure of that, and things like that. Maybe with the creators from Star Wars, they wanted to give them some sort of free range.
And again, like that's okay. So so you get J.J. Abrams doing Force Awakens, going this way. And you get Ryan Johnson, for as much of annoying if it is, going just the opposite way and like just like going like just kind of curving the story. Okay, fine. You had a director in Colin Trevorrow. Colin Trevorrow was the guy who did the Jurassic World movies. He was writing. He was gonna, or he was. I think he was writing. He was gonna direct Rise of Skywalker or the third movie. And when his script came out after the movie came out, like people were like, why couldn't they have done that? Because like he got fired for whatever reason, and then they bring back J.J. Abrams, who's just like.
He probably got fired because of, and I'm sorry to say it again, but because prior what Brian Johnson did, and
I just don't think that's
they were afraid, and they had really big success with JJ from the Force Awakens that they thought maybe he was the golden boy that could bring it back, and he couldn't. He couldn't do it. He at the same time had to work with what he could work with.
Well, whatever he had written was a lot better than what we got in J.J. Abrams, because that movie, like, I just, like, that movie's almost on the level of Justice League to me. Like, that movie, I just can't watch it. Like, it's terrible. And, like, as much as, again, like, that curveball in The Last Jedi, like, there are still a lot of really good things in that movie. There's a lot of really not good things in that movie. But there's and, again, it's not just that one. And it's not just, it's also Rise of Skywalker. It's just, like, not to mention, like, after that, like... Some of the shows, like, oof, boy, like, Obi-Wan, probably the biggest disappointment out of all of them. Boba Fett, like, what was even that? Like, you talking about earlier how, like, stories, talking with your friends after Return of the Jedi came out, after you guys all seen that movie, came out, and, friends talked about it. One of the biggest what-ifs is, like, what happened if Boba Fett survived? Like, that was, like, the biggest thing. And then we finally get it. And yeah, at first it was cool, and we're just like, and it just took a big pile of shit, like
just
like,
took too long. That was the problem.
Yeah, that too. But I mean, but then like, but when he made his comeback in Mando season 2, it was so awesome. Mando 1 and 2 are amazing, Andor, I love
I
Andor.
think Mando 1 and 2 are so amazing because, again, Mando is probably one of the only ones out there that's its own story that doesn't come from the movies. You know, it's its own thing. You know, and it's just
Again,
it's coming off of, it's supposed to be like what, 5 years after the fall of the Empire.
yeah. And again, too, that one ties in to a lot of characters that were introduced in Rebels and Clone Wars, you know? So, like, it's kind of like merging with all those kind of characters, which is awesome. But then, like, again, like, and then, you know, like, the reason I was, you know, bringing up the movies and, like, those last two ones, like, and then you get, like, I mentioned Obi-Wan, you know, like, we got, like, you had room to tell a really good story and, like, the struggle between two friends and, you know, this and that. And you wasted, you know, on another character, which probably shouldn't have been in that show because she got
Leia.
Okay, yeah, her. But I'm also talking about what was her name?
Oh, it started with an R.
Rory. It just started with an R. Shit.
Reva.
Reva.
Inquisitor Reva.
Yeah. Like, and nothing against the actress or anything like that she was doing, because what she was doing was good, but it's just like the way that character was just thrown in there, and like there was a lot of things wrong with that show. So that one was a huge disappointment for me. And then just as
like, if they were gonna have the Inquisitors, they should just had the Inquisitors.
Yeah,
that was it.
And then just recently, I mean, Ahsoka, again, a show that you know, had potential to be a lot of good things and gave us a lot of good things as well as Obi-Wan did. Obi-Wan gave us this really emotional scene between Vader and you know and Anakin transitioning into Vader, you know, and Obi-Wan Kenobi, like, you know, like just like really like just tough scene to watch, which gave us that. But then the show just kind of poo-pooed in the bed. Same thing with you know, Ahsoka. Like it gave us you know, Clone Wars, live action Clone Wars, Hayden Christensen playing Anakin.
Oh, dude,
like,
that was such a good episode.
It gave us some of the best like imagery and stuff we've seen in any show. And then, but the show itself just kind of poop with the bed too. It's just like
how so?
Like, just the fact that the whole thing with just the whole beat around the bush with Ezra and Sabine. Like, I don't know, like she risked everything to go and save him. You know, she risked, you know, like going against Ahsoka's word to go and save him. And then when she gets to him, you know, I forgot, like, I don't know, like, they just, the way that the show itself was just kind of presented, whether it was editing or writing, like, it just, there was a lot of stuff left on the floor. Like, them meeting, like, should have been more emotional. Like, not just like, oh, hey. Or, like, the fact that she starts using the Force was just so, like, fast and rapid that she starts, like, being able to lift them and toss them across a ledge. Like, no. Like, from the beginning, it was built up that she was struggling with using the Force and this and that. And the first time that she uses it, now she's an expert at it. Like, no, like, yeah, I don't believe that. Like, that just seems so, like, okay, she has it, now she's a master. Like, no, it's just like that kind of stuff, especially if she, as much as a skeptic that she was with that stuff, because going back to Rebels, where she was with Kanan, you know, questioning the Jedi and this and that, and he kind of like mentoring her in a way when she got the Darksaber. Like, there's just a lot of stuff that like that was presented in the show in the animated series Rebels that like just kind of like never, like, I don't know, just they didn't take into account, and it's just like it just felt so rushed, you know. Like, I don't know, like, I'm trying to think of something else, you know.
You know what's weird though is like some of the stuff that you think is like amazing, I think is like kind of total, not garbage, but like I just couldn't get into it.
What?
For me, one of the worst shows for me was Andor.
Oh, because
I just couldn't get into it, man. I really couldn't. It took me like it took me like 3 tries to get through the first episode, and then like after that, I would always have to keep rewinding and going back, because like I would catch myself being like watching it, and then I'd be like, wait, how do we get here again? And I would have to rewind, and go back, and like, oh, that was dumb, and kind of thing. So
You're dumb, man. How dare you? Tony Gilroy and Diego Luna bust their ass on that show.
Come on, dude. The fucking beach scene. That was probably one of the worst things. When he like ran and he was like at a beach resort.
Oh, and they just told him that, hey, you, and he goes, ah.
Yeah, it's like.
You get that wrestling,
and you know the way they painted him too at the beginning, because I know this is supposed to be before Rogue One, but in Rogue One, like, he was like this badass, like, you know, I've been fighting this fight my whole life and this and that, and you get you know him in this show, and it's like, dude, you're acting like a little bitch. Like,
I bet you like it. It was like a 5-minute Darth Vader scene at the end.
Probably.
I bet you hate Rogue One too, don't you?
No, I love Rogue One.
How dare you?
I'm one of the few that loves Rogue One.
Maybe one of the few.
Dude, I talked to some of my other friends and they're just like, "Oh, Rogue One was trash. There was no point in doing it." And I was like, "What? Like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, what was?
I remember
what
that
was
first,
trash about it?
I remember that very, very, very first teaser trailer. It was just like the radio noise, like Rogue One here. It was like, oh, that's not like you hear it, like it's so cool, like you hear the battle going on, you know. And then we got it. I mean,
because it was that, like you said, it was that, and then it was like in the jungle or something. And then
you see the trees.
It's just rising up, and then you see the silhouette of the Death Star.
Oh, that was so cool. That's gives me chills. Yeah, Rogue One, dude. Rogue One, peak for me. Rogue One, I mean, granted, and I was just talking, like, all the mess about, like, you know, like, the stuff that I didn't like with this new, like, and I will say, with this new, like, when, you know, Lucasfilm going to Disney and Disney kind of, you know, having a crack at it. Granted, there's a lot of stuff that's good, but there's also a lot of stuff that's not. So everything that I didn't like, whatever. But stuff that I did love was Rogue One. I thought that movie was really good. Granted, like, I know there's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, whatever, but, like, you know.
Oh, there's always behind-the-scenes
stuff. Yeah. You know, but just, you know, because a lot of that stuff kind of, like, carries over into Andor, like, but anyway, yeah, that movie, awesome. And then, like I mentioned earlier, Mando season 1 and Mando season 2. I'm not gonna lie, like, I liked season 3. Like, it, I will admit that it is a step down from season 2, but Mando season 3 was good, you know, because I feel like it gave the spotlight to Katie Sackhoff's character, Bo-Katan. Chris Kattan.
Bo-Katan, dude, the Night Owls.
Yeah. Again, you're more of a Clone Wars and Rebels.
And that's one thing I loved about the Clone Wars is that we got a little bit more insight with the Mandalorians themselves. Mm-hmm. And, you know, for the Mandalorian to come out too, which is like, you know, it was amazing. And, you know, different aspects of the people themselves, you know, what they believe and don't believe, because like some of the Mandalorians have that old belief that you're not supposed to remove your helmet.
Yeah.
And then others are just like, why not?
Yeah. Fuck it. Breathe in that fresh air.
And then the black saber, dude, it's just like,
yeah, like, again, like those like that show, like, gave us a lot of like you said, it started off as its own thing, but then it brought in little pieces of stuff from like other shows, you know, like the Dark Saber, and then I think you got
the one thing I didn't like was the Dark Troopers.
Oh yeah.
That was probably my biggest like grievance, is like, ew.
The robot ones.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The ones that Luke kills. Yeah. But yeah, and then say whatever you want. I loved Andor. I thought it was just like it's slow TV, and I like slow TV. And
not me, bro.
I will admit that, like, it's like it's one of those shows that, like, if you're not into it, you're not gonna be into it. Like, so with that being said, like, and again, like, another bad reputation that Star Wars has had with is always like announcing movies, and then those movies never come to fruition.
Squad. What was the one that was
Rogue Squadron?
Rogue Squadron. Oh, dude, that's like one of the ones I was like so ready for it, so hyped for
Patty
it.
Jenkins, the director of Wonder Woman.
We were gonna get like more like
dogfighting kind of.
Yeah, I was like, dude, this is gonna fucking be badass because we got a little bit of that with Oscar Isaac's character from in The Force Awakens when he's
Poe.
Yeah, when he's saving
Yeah, you got flying today or whatever. Yeah,
like we needed more of that, and I wanted more of that.
Yeah, another one that was I know we got the show, but there was an Obi-Wan movie at one point. There was a Yoda movie at one point. There was
I could have done with that.
There was a Boba Fett movie at one point.
Could have done with that.
There was a Jabba like gangster movie that was talked about.
I wish what they would go more into, and maybe they could do it as something that's even while the Empire was around, was more the crime syndicate stuff, but with Darth Maul.
That's what I want, dude. Like I want, and that's the thing. Again, when Boba Fett, the show, the Book of Boba Fett, because remember, at the end of season 2 of Mandalorian, the post-credit scene of that last episode was like Boba Fett going to Jabba's palace and killing Bib Fortuna. You know, the dude, the long nails and the long teeth. And he like killed him, because after Jabba died, Fortuna like took over his spine. He was on the chair. He was all fat and everything. And Boba Fett came in and shot him with Fennec. And then it was oh yeah, Book of Boba Fett coming in December. And then we got the trailers for Boba Fett. And it was like teased kind of like, oh yeah, like kind of like a mobster, like gangster movie, kind of like in similar to like a Godfather type of thing, And it wasn't.
And Fennec too. That's another character that was created and introduced to us in the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And and the other thing too was like, I know as much people hate this one, but I thought it was entertaining. Solo.
I like Solo.
The thing about Solo, dude, and I'll still defend it to this day, was that it was competing between two other movies.
That movie had the displeasure of being right behind Avengers.
And that was at the time.
And Deadpool.
Yeah. And that was at the time too when it was like Star Wars was only releasing during the holidays. It's like, why didn't y'all keep that? I guarantee you, if y'all would have kept it in the holiday, season, around Christmas time, y'all would have gotten more money out of that movie, and people probably would have enjoyed it a little bit more.
I think in his memoir, Bob Iger, who was the CEO of Disney at the time, who owned Lucasfilm, he was the one that made that call, and in his book he says he regrets it.
Yeah, I hope he does, because the other thing too, because you don't have to do another movie off of Solo, but you can follow something out of it. Mm-hmm. You can they showed fucking Darth Maul in there, dude.
And he was so cool.
Yeah,
I remember seeing that scene. I was like, what?
And imagine having a fucking series with Ray Parker reprising Darth Maul and what's her name from Game of Thrones?
Oh, Emilia Clarke.
Reprising the role as Kira. As his second in command and stuff, dude. Like that would be a good Star Wars series right there to do. And
again too, like in Solo, there was and again, like it say what you will about it. I like it, but there were also some stuff that's just like, ugh, like the way he got the way he got his name.
Yeah, the way he got his name, I was like, dumb.
That was so dumb. But yeah, I mean, I like that movie. But looking towards the future, right now there have been.
Well, as of today, a new show just came out today.
Yes.
So if you haven't seen it, the Tales of the Jedi has been out for a while. I think it's like 6 episodes. That was really good. It kind of shows,
So basically, it was
Ahsoka and how.
Tales of the Jedi. Oh, it was Ahsoka.
And how Count Dooku became Count Dooku.
Yeah, Count Dooku's turn.
Yeah.
And that was it, right?
Yeah, those were the main two. Okay. And then now they're going to do a Tales of the Empire. Well, just came out today. Mm-hmm. and
it tackles Morgan
and
Elsbeth from
from Ahsoka.
Ahsoka, and who else? Was somebody else in it? It was just her.
No, God, what was her name? She was the one that betrayed the Jedi Order and framed Ahsoka.
Saj? No. Ventress?
No, not Ventress. She was like a young Jedi.
I don't know for her name. Don't search it up.
Well, go ahead and talk about it. I'll search it.
I'm gonna time you. See how long I'm gonna search it. So yeah, that's Tales of the Empire, right? Because so that comes out today, and it's really cool because like it just dives like it just tells like a mini
Varys
story.
Offee.
That was 10 minutes. No, I was kidding. But yeah, like they tell you like a small section of a story, but an important part because in the Tales of the Jedi, spoilers, like Count Dooku's story is that we finally know what happens to fucking don't tell me I forgot her name again. The other Yoda, Yaddle. We finally know what happens to Yaddle, and for those who don't know who Yaddle is,
she was a female.
She was another species of whatever Yoda is.
You still don't until this day. After all these fucking years of Star Wars, nobody still knows
has a name. They just
the race of Yoda. Grogu and Yaddle.
Yeah, so basically in the first, like, I guess,
but that they age really, really
slow. Yeah. So like in Phantom of the Menace was when they showed her, right? She was on the council. Yeah. So like, so she was like another, like, basically like she was like a female Yoda on the council, and so this one we finally find out what happens to her, and I won't say what happens, but yeah. So yeah, so like those little animated things that are coming out, and today is the Tales from the Empire, or Tales of the Empire,
Yeah, which I haven't started yet, so I can't wait to get into it.
But then fast forward next month, and
June 4th.
Yes, and we have a new live action Star Wars show, Star Wars Acolyte, or The Acolyte.
Acolytes. I think it's just acolytes.
Acolytes, and so I think from what I remember that this show
distracting.
Is basically yes, it really was. It basically just follows a young Jedi who goes to the dark side. I think it follows.
We really kind of don't know the full.
All I know is that Carrie-Anne Moss comes out in it, and it's heavily rumored that Keanu Reeves might be playing Revan, or that Revan might be coming out in this show. Sure. But anyway, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm.
Imagine Keanu Reeves going off with fucking blasters, dude.
with the John Wick.
With the John Wick.
What do they call? They call it it's something like Taekwondo, or it's like Taekwondo, or
some shit like that.
Gun Tuan. I don't know, some
weird shit.
So yeah, we got the Acolyte coming out next month. So I mean, I don't know. Like I've just fallen into this trap, and the thing is too it's with these Star Wars shows that, and like.
What do you also think too that the next movie is supposed to be on about Rey, and I think that's the one that Andy Serkis is supposed to direct.
No, not Andy Serkis. It's I forget her name. I can't think of her name right now, but. So yeah, no, I think it's either going to be the Rey movie that's going to be next.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
or
what do you think about that? Like,
I don't know. It's not even so much that I don't like. I love the character of Rey, but it's just, again, it's one of those things where Star Wars announces movies, and I don't put stock in it or believe it until I see a trailer. Honestly, like this Acolyte thing, I didn't like. It's been slated to come out for the past like 2 years. I haven't had any trailers, much of nothing, and I didn't believe it was coming out until I saw the trailer. I'm like, oh shit, this is actually coming out. I'm like, damn, okay, cool. But yeah, as far as like, because we got the Rey movie that was announced, and we also got a Mandalorian and Grogu movie coming out. And then supposedly we have a movie directed by James Mangold. He is the same guy who did Logan. He's the same guy who did Ford v Ferrari. Also the same guy who did the newest Indiana Jones movie. But he's supposed to be doing a movie about the origins of the Jedi, supposedly. And again, all this, like I just like
Origins of the Jedi. I think I could be into a show. I don't know. For me, I'm just like show. Just do a show. Just do a show.
See, but the thing is, and that's the thing I was gonna say earlier about the show is that like every time they do shows, these shows are 6-8 episodes long, 30 minutes each. It's like when you when again we're going now how we're talking about with how earlier we were talking about releasing a show week by week versus all at once. This is one of those things of like when you do the show and especially these Star Wars shows that come on Disney Plus lately have all been like, I think with the exception of Andor, to be honest, and I'm not just saying that to say that, but like
no wonder I was bored.
What I was saying is that like you have these Star Wars shows that like have a lot of meat to tell, like a lot of story to tell, and you rush it because you're doing 6 episodes.
Yeah,
30 minutes each.
You know what the problem is, though, right? They're spending all their fucking money.
Yeah, the budgets
on the fucking effects and shit.
Yeah, the budgets are
ridiculous.
Like, but then like they have the volume and stuff, and it's just like I don't know, man. Like I hate it when I see a Star Wars show and I look at things. It's like 38 minutes long, and that's not even including the little opening credits and the end credits. So it's like the reality is like it's like 24, 25 minutes. Are you kidding me? You can't tell a fleshed out story that when you do that, it just becomes more rushed. Like, and then also too, it's always like build up, and then like 7 or the 5th or 7th episode is always like, oh shit, some stuff's gonna happen, and it's always left to that last episode to like wrap up everything, and they drop the ball every single time with those last episodes. And again, it's not just the Star Wars, man. It is the Marvel stuff too, but that's just so frustrating, man. Like I just
come on, man.
Like just how with the WWE, we kicked out the old man and we got Triple H in there and he's telling some good stories and we're going in a good direction. Yeah, stuff needs a little work, whatever, this and that. Let's do that with Star Wars. Can we just get someone in there that
there's some stuff that he's kind of effing up on, but for the most part, he's doing a lot better.
Yeah, but like, I just want someone to take over like the reins from Star Wars and just kind of like, and for a little bit, people were like, "Oh, that's Dave Filoni. We want him to like run it." But with him doing what he did with Ahsoka, like, I know he was like part of the writing, for that. I was just like, I don't like his style of kind of telling these stories as far as in live action sense. Like,
What do you think about Jon Favreau?
He's just too busy, dude. Like, he stretches himself out way too thin. He's doing 7 million things. I think he is the better call though, because Mando season 1, Mando season 2, and I honestly do think that I think it was Filoni that did season 3. I know Jon Favreau had some help in it, but like I think it was mainly Filoni. And I mean, again, like it wasn't terrible, but compared to the other two,
one thing I will say
it was a step down.
We are about an hour into this episode, so I don't know how far you wanted to go with it. But one thing I will say is, I am definitely enjoying more of the Star Wars stuff than I am with the Marvel.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like with Marvel right now, remember, I like to reminisce, Steven. I like to reminisce about how I felt before something big happened. So I like to go back to when pre-Flash, when we're always like, the Flash coming out, baby. It's gonna reset the DC universe. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. It's gonna be awesome. And you walk out the movie and we're just like, what the fuck was that? Like that's how I feel like right now. It's with Deadpool. Like right now, Marvel's he's in the poo poo. Marvel is in the shitter. It's just whatever they've been starting from the shows, to the movies, it just hasn't been good, with the exception of a few like Guardians, Guardians 3, whatever. It's probably the only one. But like right now, it's not in a good spot. So people are like, okay, here comes Deadpool. Deadpool is the only Marvel movie coming out this year, and I think there's only like 2 shows. I think Agatha's coming out this year, and I don't know what else to be honest. But
yeah, to be honest, I don't even know anything. The only thing I know is Deadpool. Well, Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah. So like.
Which I'm super excited about, but
yeah, because I watched the trailers.
I'm not trying to get too excited for it.
Again, I watched the trailers. I'm like, oh, this looks funny, but I'm just like, I've been fooled so many times before, you know. So I'm just like, I'm holding my breath. I don't think because people's expectation going into this movie. Now, when I say people, I listen to a lot of podcasts or like what they kind of like talked about, what they're anticipating. Is kind of like that. Given all the behind the scenes photos we saw or like little things he saw, like that Deadpool's gonna go and he's gonna kill the Fox universe, you know, because we see the Fox logo in the back, blah blah blah. That he's gonna go and kill the Fox universe. As far as the trailer's going right now, that doesn't look like it's happening that way, but people think to some extent that's gonna happen. I like speculating about what may or may not happen, but I try not to put any stock in any of that. Because if that doesn't happen, you know, then I'm just shooting myself in the foot, basically. So, with that being said, I am looking forward to Deadpool. I'm really clenching my butthole and crossing my fingers that it's gonna be good and it's gonna be funny and like we're gonna go in there and we're gonna laugh and we're gonna be blown away by some of the stuff that they show us. But again, I'm cautious. I will say before I stop this rant. Is that this film is directed by Sean Levy. It has Ryan Reynolds in it. The last movie, or one of the movies they did before was that video game movie. What was it called?
Fall Guy.
No, Fall Guy is the...
No, not Fall Guy. Free Guy.
Free Guy. That's the last movie they did together, right? Well, not last movie, but that's one of the movies they did together. Yeah. And who made a cameo in that movie when he put out the Captain America shield? It was Chris Evans. So I'm just like... Chris Evans gonna make a cameo in this movie? Are we gonna see him and people are gonna think, oh, it's Cap, and he's gonna be like, flame on, you know? Like I just that's one of the things I'm just looking forward to because like they're gonna be dealing with the TVA. There's rumors of different Wolverine variants.
Yeah, there was rumors of Elektra Gardner coming in to replace Rose Elektra. Who else there was somebody else from another movie. God damn it. To come in. I can't think of it either. But yeah, I mean, supposedly there's supposed to be a lot of these fucking... And then there was a lot of those fake photos where they were doing all these fake cameos.
Mm-hmm. So, again, I mean, I'm not expecting that. I'm not expecting Chris Evans to show up. But if he does, I'm going to lose my fucking mind.
I just like the end of the trailer where Blind... what's her name? Blind.
I forgot her name anyway, but yeah, she's like talking about cocaine.
Cocaine, they're like, that's the one thing he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, that trailer was awesome. I just love how he's all like, "Hey, Peanut," he was not now, lady. So stupid. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. I can't wait to talk a year from now and be like, "Hey, remember when we thought about this about Deadpool and how awesome it was, or just how like." Nah, it wasn't. That wasn't it.
It wasn't it.
So,
yeah. Well, I didn't get to talk too much about Bad Batch, but I will say, please go watch it if you have not seen it. It's an amazing animated series. I know it's animated, and people are like, "Oh, it's animated. I don't know if I want to watch animated." It's like, dude, trust me, it's good. It's real mature for its content. I mean, this third season was just amazing. It was so good. Who's the guy that plays 80/40 Hands on
80/40 Hands? Yeah,
and then he's also on Always Sunny as one of the
one of the brothers, right?
Yeah,
I don't know his name.
But
he's always with the sister that goes out.
Yeah. Oh, Jimmy Simpson. Jimmy Simpson, he plays one of the voices in the the doctors for the Empire, and he's just so amazing, so good. I mean, just for doing the voice, but I mean, god damn, dude, like he just makes you like, oh. So definitely go watch Bad Batch. I got teary eyed. It was good. If you have anything else with Star Wars, I mean, shoot us comments, whatever.
Share your favorite Star Wars moment.
Yeah.
Like, what's your earliest moment of Star Wars? You know, what's your favorite moment? What's your not so favorite? Share everything and all of it. You know, we want to know.
I know you're not with us all the time as much anymore. You know, we love you being here.
I love being here. It's awesome. This is really good beer.
Yeah, this is a really good beer. Good
more.
choice. Yeah.
I wish I had more.
I will be doing other episodes too. I definitely will be doing a lot of stuff on some other shows that I've been watching, and I will be around. So
Stick around.
Yeah, stick around. Be sure to follow us on our social medias. I'm trying to be a little bit more active in Instagram, but that's the one that I'm most active in. So, you know, shoot us some messages or anything like that. I'm working on some stuff too, so just stick around, keep in touch, and see what happens. And
watch a Star Wars movie.
The old ones.
Or Attack of the Clones. I don't know, you might like it.
You might change your mind. You might be like, oh yeah, this one was good. So, probably right around this intro, you've been listening to our regular outro song if you're watching the video. But if you're listening to our audio version, I'm about to, do a Star Wars theme outro song for us. So if you've never heard of this band, I suggest you go check them out. It's called Galactic Empire, and in celebration of May the 4th and the ending of Bad Batch, we are going to do a Bad Batch version of this. So here you go, guys. Eddie, it was good having you here, and thanks for the beer. This was some really good beer. Stick around, guys, and we'll be back with some more episodes. Cheers.
Cheers.